Have you ever felt out of control? Maybe you feel that way right now. Maybe it feels like your whole life is out of control. I've been there. I have felt that. It's a terrible feeling because you don't know which way to turn. You don't know what you should do next. You don't trust your own feelings. It's chaos in your life. Well, I have something to share with you. I don't think you were ever in control. I think that's why that hits humans so hard to feel out of control, is because we realize that we never really had it. See, Jesus shows us how to relate to God in three main ways: as our Father, as our Master or our employer, and as our bridegroom, as our spouse, right? I am all three of those things. I am a father, I am an employer, and I am a husband. And in all three of those facets of my life, my whole life, I have felt the need to be in control, that I am in charge. I heard from Simon Sinek years ago that talking about leadership, that you're not in charge, you're responsible for those in your charge. And that changed me. That helped me a lot because it took some of the weight off of my plate to realize that I wasn't in charge as much as I was just there to care for and tend the people in my life, my children, my wife, my employees. But it hit me even harder as I was reading the Bible that I'm not in control at all. I feel like I am. I feel like I need to be, right? I feel like I get up in the morning and I have to be in control of my household, and I have to be in control of my employees, and I have to be in control all the time. I feel this just pressure as a man to do and provide and to protect and to have to take care of everyone. And it hit me that I'm not in control of anything. There's a story Jesus tells in the Bible when these men come up to him as he's preaching, and they ask him, "Who's supposed to get the inheritance? We can't decide who's entitled to this inheritance. Can you divvy it up for us?" And Jesus says, "What are you asking me for? Who made me your judge?" Right? He goes, "You're worried about the wrong things." And then he tells a story about a man who has a banner year for his farm, and he's got to build a bigger barn because he has to store more of his grain, and now he's loaded. He's rich and he's powerful and he's excited, and he plans a trip that he's going to go, and he's going to visit all these places over the next year. And Jesus says, "What a fool. That man doesn't even realize his life will be taken from him that very night. All his plans, all his wealth, all for nothing." And that's when it hit me. I can't control if I wake up tomorrow. I can't control the weather, right? My job, my company depends on the weather being good. I can't control if it rains or snows or wind starts blowing. I can't control if deliveries show up on time. I can't control if employees even show up for the day. I can't control if I can make it to work for the day. I can't control if the job gets done. I can't control car accidents that my employees might get into. I can't control my daughter, that's for sure. I have a 6-year-old daughter. I can't get her to wear the pants that I want her to wear for most days, and it's a fight, and she ends up wearing what she wants when she goes to school. I can't control a 6-year-old. I can't control the weather. I can't control my older sons. I can't control anyone, anything, any part of my life. Not even if I wake up tomorrow. Every breath is given to me by God, and it's something to be grateful for sure. But that comes with such relief. It comes with such peace that you can't understand. I'm not in charge. I'm not in control. God has blessed me with things to take care of, to be in my charge, for sure. And I'm supposed to exhibit Him through all of those roles. I'm supposed to exhibit God as a husband to my wife. I'm supposed to exhibit God as a father to my children. I'm supposed to exhibit just and mercy and love to my employees as He is our master and we are His servant. And as a man, 3 words that are really hard for a man to wrap his head around, that we don't like these words. Things like submission or surrender or slavery. Terrible words, especially to a man, because we feel like we those are beneath us. Submission, that's a UFC term. That's a losing term. You don't submit. Surrender, that means you've lost. Nobody surrenders or retreats. Absolutely not. Slavery, don't get me started. Terrible. Like, those are words that we would never think are good things, but the Bible uses it over and over again. We are to submit to God. Does that mean we lose to God? Absolutely not. We are supposed to surrender to God. Does that mean we lose again? Actually, in a way, yeah, it does. Because Jesus says anyone who wants to keep his life will lose it. So we're supposed to lose our life. That's the whole point, because it wasn't ours to begin with. We aren't in control of it. You can't control your next breath. You can't control what the car at the next red light's going to do. You are in zero control of your life. Every breath is given to you by God, by His grace. We are to submit to Him. We are to lose our life. He is in ultimate control. And that's why we feel so out of control, is because that's when we finally realize we weren't in control to begin with. He is. And as a man, as somebody with all of these realms of my life where I have to be in charge and in control all the time, it's so peaceful to know that I'm not in control, that I am but an employee still of his, and I am still his spouse, and I am still his child, and I am supposed to be a conduit of everything he's given me through to those that he has placed in my charge. Middle management, I've always said, is the easiest place to be when I was working. As a boss, it's terrible. There's nowhere to turn. Everything rests on you. Everybody wants to be in charge and be the boss and be the top. No one realizes how hard it is, that everything rises and falls on your decision making and questions that come to you and everything. But then there's a funny story in 3 of the Gospels actually, but here in Matthew, a centurion, a Roman centurion, comes up to Jesus and he asks him to heal his servant, his son. And there's a part that a lot of people overlook in this that I didn't find until I read a book where it was laid out for me. But pay attention here where the centurion says, Matthew chapter 8, verse 8, he says, "Lord, I am not worthy to have you come under my roof, but just say the word, my servant will be healed." And here's the verse. "For I too," he's talking to Jesus, "I too am a man under authority, having soldiers under my command. I say to this one, go, and he goes, and another, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it." Did you catch it? He recognized that Jesus was a man under authority. Over and over again, Jesus talked about how his power was given to him by the Father. Everything he said was words from the Father. All of his works were from the Father. Yes, he was God. Yes. And that's why I talk about him being the undercover boss, is because he didn't come in glory. He didn't come to be worshiped, to be God. He came to show us how to have relationship with God. He was our example. He said, "Do what I do, follow me, and then you can be like me." In Corinthians, Paul says to imitate Christ. He imitates Christ, so imitate him. That's what we're supposed to do. We are supposed to be imitators of Christ in what he's doing. And one of the things that this Roman centurion recognized, and it says that Jesus was amazed. He was marveling at this man's faith. And I think that's part of it, is the man understood that Jesus had people under his control, to be sure, but also he was a man under authority. And that's what we need to be. We need to be men and women under his authority. It is not our life. It is given to us. It is not our money. It's just our turn with it. It is not our company, our children. All of these were given to us to be conduits of his love and his mercy through us to them. Not for our own glory, but for God's glory. That is the whole purpose of life. He's going to give you things to take care of, to see how you take care of it. Will you take care of it for your own glory, for your own satisfaction, or for his? Will you show his glory, his love, his mercy, his grace, or your own way? Don't impose your own way on your life, because it wasn't yours to begin with. You didn't create yourself, and you have no control when you leave this earth. You have no control over what's going to happen to you in the next hour, the next day, the next week, the next year. Submit yourself under the authority of God. Let him control your life. He will direct your steps, as Proverbs says. We might plan our way. We might have ideas about our life, but let him direct your steps. As David said, let his word be a light to your feet so you can illuminate the path. He'll show you the way to go, but you have to submit. You have to surrender to him. You have to give up everything that you think is yours, because none of it is. You can't control the market. You can't control housing. You can't control your bank account. You can't control anything. Think about it. Think of how little you actually can physically control. There's one thing that you can control, and it's you. One of the fruits of the Spirit is self-control. If you read all through Titus, as he's talking to Titus, he's talking about being self-controlled. We can control ourselves. That's it. And how do you control yourself? For your own gain, for your own benefit, for your own admiration, for your own glory? Or do you control yourself so that you can exhibit the fruits of the Spirit: love, peace, joy, kindness, patience, goodness, gentleness, self-control? Do you control yourself to be more like God, to imitate Christ? Or do you just think that you have to be in control? Because I tell you, at the end of time, we're all going to learn a very hard lesson. We were never in control, and there is one who is in complete control over everything and all things. He created all things. He will end all things. He is ultimately in control. It's just up for you to figure out. I figured it out, and there's a peace that comes with that surpasses all understanding, because it doesn't rise and fall on me. I don't have to make all the decisions. I just submit to him. I ask him to light my path. I ask him to direct my steps, and then I go knowing that I have his blessing on the life that he gave me. God bless you.